What's up, everybody? Doing something new with my beautiful girl, Miss Brittany Griggs here. So, look, as you know, we have highlighted Brittany as our business of the month. I've had the pleasure and honor of working together with her and her family. And what I really appreciate about you, Brittany, is your comprehensive scope on things, right? So, full disclosure, like we all need better boundaries. And I was going through some things in my personal life. And outside of mortgages, Brittany leaned in and she's like, "Oh, you gotta listen to this podcast. You gotta like do this book." And like it really help me to be a better human at home with my family and my business. And so, therefore, I am super grateful for you to take the time and to share a little bit of your talent and your sparkle with the world. So, hi, Brittany. You want to say hi? Hi.
Hi everyone. Hi Austin. Thank you for that awesome intro. That was so kind. I'm so grateful to be here and just connect with you a little bit more and also like connect with all you others that are watching. So I really appreciate that.
100%. So, I always want to know, like, what inspired you to get into this field? Like, what inspired you to take this next step and really do this level of service?
Yeah. So I always knew that I had just more of a helper spirit, I like to call it, just trying to be in action in terms of serving others in one way or another. Initially, I was like, oh, I want to be a nurse. Then I had an internship. I was like, that's not for me, actually. But I knew that I still loved understanding humans. I've always been really into psychology, astrology, understanding just human behavior. And
Yeah.
so naturally, that became my major, and I fell in love with it. I majored in psychology, and then I started working in college doing ABA therapy for kids with autism. And then I also worked at an eating disorder treatment center.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there's a really intense population, but it was so beautiful. And that's what I recognized. Like, I need to do more, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm helping in the capacity that I was as support and just managing stuff in the house. But that's what prompted me to actually go back to school and actually pursue becoming a therapist and seeking licensure and that whole process. So, just, yeah, all of that.
Oh yeah. And like you've served a lot of populations since we've known each other and Capricorn to Capricorn, I think one of the hardest things is like, communication, right? So when people are at home, like what's one tip that you would give folks to have a better communication at home? Because if we communicate better, like everything kind of ripples effect back out.
Yes, that's such a good question. I think that one of the most important, just foundational tools for positive communication is really this concept of validation.
Okay.
Um, Validation is really at its core being able to drop down and what is the kernel of truth in the other person's perspective, right? So
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you agree with what they're saying, right? That doesn't mean that you agree with what they're doing, but it does mean that you're able to drop down and try to find some empathy and have some understanding as to their perspective so that at least you're able to understand where they're coming from, right? So I like to tell my families when we are listening, we are really listening to understand, right? We're not listening to respond,
Mm.
which a lot of us can be in, right? When we're communicating, you want to know what to say, and just intuitively, humans want to know what to say back, but there's a lot of power in really pausing and listening. And maybe you don't have so much to say at that time. Maybe you're really trying to process what the other person is saying. And that in and of itself can increase understanding in families and relationships in general just tenfold.
Yeah, I like that. I like that kernel of truth. I've been super into this idea of like, everything's a kaleidoscope, right? It's like it takes all the different colors, you have the different lenses that you see things. And I think when we recognize that, as you said, even if I don't just agree with it or I don't want to move forward in that fashion, there is some truth no matter what, right? That's beautiful. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that little pocket, right? So then let's end it with, what do you like most about the families that you work with, like being in the space, right? It's not being a nurse where, you're checking the temperature necessarily. And obviously we've moved through different populations that we've served, but what's about it that really lights you up and that you feel that is the most meaningful part, shall we say?
I love working with families so much because the reward is so valuable in the sense
Yeah.
of at the end of walking alongside a family in their journey, right, navigating whatever their current difficulties were, right, and creating a shared space for understanding, a shared space where they're able to see one another in a different way, acknowledging them being humans outside of them just being mom, dad, brother, sister, right? Like
Yeah.
these other components that make them them. It's just such an honor to see that at the end and just have families get to this space where they are really just in a space more of healing and they're able to take that and carry that on in their lives and in their families. And what is especially beautiful about that is that's how we're also changing generational patterns, right?
Got that
Generational
right.
trauma,
Yeah.
right? Generational, just all of that. Like we are shifting that and creating new patterns and new normals, and that's ultimately what is going to shift, people moving forward in future generations.
You inspire me. You really, really do, right? And I'll take that because I like that removing the title of something, right? Like you're not a mother, like you're a human and you have your own stuff to work through, right? Like, and that, being seen and having people being seen, I think is so important, that value, right? So if people wanted to reach out to you more and get your amazingness, right, in their own lives, whether it's in their family, their relationships, whatever that dynamic is, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
So you can always reach out to me. My website is www.therapywithbg.com.
Okay.
BG, Brittany Griggs.
Yep.
And then my handles on Instagram and TikTok are Therapy with BG.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again for sharing your time. If you're watching this video, it is for a purpose. It hit you for a reason. So please share so we can break patterns and build the best lives. Brittany, I am grateful to always serve you and your family, and I thank you for it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.